We all know exactly why you clicked this video. You want to start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2026. Maybe you're an older player who hasn't played in a long time, or maybe you're brand new to the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, today we're going to be giving you everything you need, from playing online to playing in your local store, and make you into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Champion in no time. I'm here as usual with Johnny and Leoni. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing well.
And let's say a big welcome to our brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Why should the people watching this video play Yu-Gi-Oh!, you guys?
Because honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh! Hasn't been this much fun in ages. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always been a lot of fun, but especially recently the meta has been just splendid.
The meta, the decks, they're all fun to play, but also just in general, it feels like the game is in a really good spot right now in terms of organization and products. There's really never been a better time to get into Yu-Gi-Oh!, right?
Yeah, and also the chances have never been higher that you just randomly go into a local and then Timothy Chalamet is there, or Zorro from One Piece, and you're just like, oh, I want to be cool like that.
Play Yu-Gi-Oh!, maybe meet a celebrity. First step to playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, you need a place to play it. So I think the biggest thing, for those who don't know, Konami's website, as well as their official Konami Neuron app on your phone, has a store locator. So you can find the nearest store to you that hosts weekly, at least weekly, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments. And once you're there, well, I guess you need some cards, right?
Yes. Some cards and some friends that most likely teach you how to play with those cards, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be a bit daunting at the beginning, which is why I would recommend not starting with the online client, actually play with people that can tell you, oh no, this actually works this way, because a lot of things sometimes don't work the way that you would think they do.
Yeah, it's one of those games that, you know, it's been around for over 25 years. There's been new mechanics and new cards coming out that whole time. So you really should have someone more familiar with the game sort of helping you along as you learn, because otherwise it can be a lot to learn all on your own, all at once. I know, Leoni, you play a lot of Master Duel, but what would you say for someone who's never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Before? Is that a good place to start online?
So I think something that is cool in Master Duel to learn is the whole chain situation. Like, this whole thing kind of is like, you know, a bit like represented in one line of all the cards just like on the screen. Mm-hmm. While in real life, it's just kind of like, oh, you had something there, and then, you know, so that could be a bit messy. So for that alone, just for the understanding of that, it's a good feature. But in general, always like have the card in your hand and like read it and like discuss what's going on is kind of like better at the beginning, just also to get into the habit of it, because otherwise you're just never leaving the couch. You know?
Yeah, if you spend all your time playing Master Duel by yourself and you just kind of click the glowing cards, that doesn't really teach you the way you need to play the game in real life with real people. So we all recommend find your local store, go there, meet a bunch of people who are also interested in the game. You'll have tons of new friends in no time, and the other thing you'll need to find pretty quick is a deck to play with. So what would be some recommendations for a first-timer looking to buy some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and build a deck?
I mean, to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, not just the meta being the best it has been in a while, also I don't think has been cheaper than it is right now ever since I started playing in 2018 again. And we've had lots of reprint sets that will make all of the staples available. But one of the the easiest things to get into the game right now, or soon to come on April 23rd, will be the legendary modern decks. That will include 3 decks, Mitsurugi, Sky Striker, and X-Saber. I don't know how good X-Saber is going to be in the modern day, but Mitsurugi and Sky Striker are going to be actually competent decks, and they have a good set of staples. And that's a one-time purchase. The decks are ready to play. Of course, there will be cards that won't be in there that you can upgrade your deck with over time if you like it. But if you just want to go to locals and you want to play Sky Striker or Mitsurugi, that's going to be good. But you will have to learn a lot, of course.
Yeah, and since that product is still a little ways away, we also have some good other starter decks, structure decks that you can pick up, such as the Fallen and the Virtuous deck from not too long ago. Very playable for a first-time player just looking to learn the game. But once again, try to buddy up with someone and see if they can maybe help explain some of those cards and combos to you, because I think that will help you have a lot more fun with it.
And also find like an archetype or something that you actually like. Like maybe if I feel like, if you're already interested in like card games, then maybe from other card games you have a thing where it's like, oh, I play the best when I flood a board, or I play good with other strategies. So maybe there's like ways to find a card like that in Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Absolutely. Yu-Gi-Oh really has a wide variety of styles to the decks, not just in terms of gameplay, but also in terms of artworks and flavors. So if you want to play as like giant mechs that are like shooting laser beams, you can do that. You want some dragons, do that. You want cats that are also ice cream cones, you can also do that. So I really think there is something for everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh! And, maybe starting out, you won't quite have the knowledge to find that exact deck that really locks in with you. But over time, you'll see more cards, you'll see what's interesting to you, and you'll be able to build in that direction. So let's say you found your local store, you're ready to go to your first locals. What else do you need besides just a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in order to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh local?
Well, I mean, hopefully you don't play like Taylor did with his childhood decks and you sleeve your cards.
That's right, yeah.
So you will need sleeves. Most locals will have them. You also can get them on Cardmarket.
Side note on that, Johnny, is they're Japanese-sized card sleeves.
Yes.
So unlike other TCGs such as Magic, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are actually slightly smaller, so you cannot buy standard size card sleeves and expect them to fit your Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You will need specifically the smaller Japanese sized card sleeves, which is a mistake I have seen new players make plenty of times.
Yeah, or they thought, oh, I have those lying around, so it's fine.
I play so many card games, I have sleeves at home, it's fine, and then they're wiggling around in their sleeves.
But you can buy them at the locals, just come 5 minutes early because it takes a while.
Yeah.
And then, the local's gonna start and you're like...
Yes. You'll also need a playmat. I mean, a lot of locals will have some playmats ready at the tables, but and some players will have two-player playmats, cloth playmats, whatever. But you can get like a cheap playmat for $10-20 very easily. A lot of locals will have a like death box lying around with old playmats that they want to sell. Players will do the same. So if you just ask around at your locals, you'll also most likely find someone that is willing to part with something. You should have a pair of dice and a deck box, of course.
Oh yeah, sure. A few token cards, like whatever you need, whatever your deck has to.
Yeah, also some way to keep track of life points, whether that is just the Konami Neuron app is mostly fine for the local level. A lot of people use calculators or use what is best really is a pen and a piece of paper, because then you can always go back and look at what steps the life points have taken in the game in case anyone gets confused or lost. But yeah, that'll set you up for success. I recommend some kind of small bag or backpack that you can sort of put all your stuff in. That's always nice to just be able to sort of load up and move between tables very quickly. But other than that, I think you might be ready for your round one. So you're playing your first game of real-life Yu-Gi-Oh! What should you expect? What's going to happen? What if my opponent plays all these crazy cards and I don't know what any of them do? What am I supposed to do, guys?
Oh, I have a tip for that. It's so cool. Okay, so what you do is you breathe in, you breathe out, you look at the card, you're like, yeah, what does that do? And then, and then you have like and bam, you've met your best friend.
We have a lot of new players at locals, and if they just come up to us and say, hey, I'm new, I barely know what my deck does, I definitely don't know what your deck does, please, be kind, then you just play a bit slower. Usually that player knows that the outcome of the match is already settled, so they can explain their cards, and then they can maybe even say oh, this card, you could now use it here to interrupt. And that's why you should play in person first, because these kind of interactions is something that is not easy to see for a beginner. But if you just play a few rounds, you won't be the champion from the get-go, but you'll find people that will teach you and maybe even notice that you're missing a card, and then they get their trade binder out and tell you, hey, this one, you can have it, it's actually only 15 cents.
Yeah.
Turns out Yu-Gi-Oh! Players do love to talk about their cards, kind of. Most of them, some of them.
I think in general, Yu-Gi-Oh players are very, very welcoming to new players. We all enjoy this game so much. It's so unique compared to other TCGs. And seeing new people interested in the game is genuinely exciting for us, right? So if you sit down at your table and you literally just swallow your ego a little bit and say, hey, I'm brand new at this. I just need some help, like understanding what does that do? Was this a good play? Should I have done something else? You know, these kinds of conversations, most players are more than happy to talk to you during the game or after the game or whenever and really help you start to understand the game more. So definitely don't take personal offense if you lose a couple games at the beginning, because the game is very complicated and very deep.
And you will.
You will lose games.
And also keep losing. Like you will even learn something just from like watching like things. Like actually, you kind of sometimes learn more by losing than by winning, because
Absolutely.
then you know like, oh, I should have done this earlier, so maybe next time. And that is also something that works way better in real life compared to.
Yeah.
You know, like if I like misclick here, misclick there, or like it just doesn't stick the same way.
There's no way for your Master Duel opponent to, you know, friend request you after the game and send you a message about how you misplayed or anyway. So you've been playing at a local level for a while. Let's say you've got a deck, you're adding a couple cards here and there, you're making it better, you're banging it up, shiny and new. It's a competitive powerhouse. So you want to take things a step further. You want to go to the next level of Yu-Gi-Oh! What does that look like? What is the competitive structure of Yu-Gi-Oh? How can I become the world champion?
Well, actually, the first step to playing anything higher than locals might actually just be locals plus, which is called OTS championships. They are more prestigious versions of local tournaments held at your local shop. And these tournaments will have extra pricing. They usually don't cost €5 entrance, but they cost 20 or 25. Mm-hmm. You get more boosters as an entrance. You don't get an OTS pack often. You just get like the most recent set, 5 booster packs. And the first 2 people of that tournament, they will get an invite to the WCQ of their region, which means their European or North American championships. Those invites are given at any other tournament that is higher than OTS, which would be regionals. Regionals usually range from, let's just say 50 to several hundred, even close to 1,000 players. That's usually a regional size. You can find those all in the Neuron app as well. And there it's the same. You go there, you pay your entrance fee, you get some boosters, you play against more people, more rounds. And then for every 8 people that are in the tournament, 1 person will get an invite. So if it's, for example, 64 players in that tournament, then the first top 8 people, they'll get an invite to the European or North American championships. Then you have your nationals or YCS, so like the really, really high stakes tournaments. For those, still just the same. You don't need an invite, you just need to buy a ticket, you need to sign up. Usually for those big tournaments, you need to buy a ticket quite early. So keep an eye out for like the Konami websites that post something, I don't know, YCS and then whatever location. Tickets are now available. If you want to go, you should buy those tickets soon, because if they're sold out and you cannot play. Then you play against 2,000 other people, maybe. And again, for those 2,000 other people that top will get an invite. Usually the top 256 after day 2, they are allowed to play day 2. And then you just play more and more. Hopefully after 15 rounds of Swiss, you are not completely out of it. Swiss means that you're just playing not a KO system. You just play rounds after another. And depending on your standing at the end, you'll get further into the brackets. And then you have a KO system after that. And then if you've done well at any of these tournaments and you've gotten an invite, either at your OTS, your regionals, your nationals, or your YCS championships, then you are invited to your WCQs. Those will be your European or North American championships. And for those, you can then, again, get a ticket. Only get a ticket if you have an invite, show up. Now you're playing against other people that have also done well at tournaments. So it's going to be much harder to perform there, because it's not just everyone, it's everyone that is already performing good at the other tournaments. And they're the top players. They will be invited to the World Championship. And at the World Championship, well, you're playing for the title of the World Champion. And
games.
yes, it's a lot of different things that you can do. There's also points that you can basically gather over a season to get into the World Championships. But I think for now, if you want to play, just ask the people at your locals if they know if an OTS or regional is coming up. If they're going, go with them. And then if you see that this is for you, then maybe plan your nationals or your first YCS.
Yeah, check where it is if you can afford it. And also if you go there and you like immediately lose, there's tons of like side events that you can still partake in. And there's other people who lose as well. And they also came there to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So you can just like sit somewhere and play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right?
Or if you're really into Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, you can also learn Genesis, because now YCSs will have Genesis on Friday and then the standard TCG on Saturday. And if you do good in either one of the two, you can play day 2 on Sunday.
You know, for the first time pretty much ever, we have a main alternate format for Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is very, very cool. And something that's maybe worth mentioning at these YCS events, you do have to have either official Yu-Gi-Oh! Sleeves and a playmat, or just a plain color sleeves and playmat. You can't just use any crazy custom designs that maybe you use at your local. And that's just to make sure everyone is keeping things above grade and A+ for everyone around at all the tables. So just keep that in mind. If you do have custom stuff, you may have to change it if you're planning to go to one of these larger events. All of that being said, I would start out OTS Store Championships. That's the place for you. Just play at your local store, and even if that store itself doesn't have a championship going on, there's probably one not too far away that would. And then, yeah, Nationals is the first large event that I ever went to, and it was big, but it wasn't like 2,000 player big, so I wasn't completely overwhelmed, right? That's what I would recommend, and then you can go from there and maybe someday become a YCS champion all on your own. But let's say you're going to your first YCS. You're playing the game, you're really into it, you're gonna grab a bunch of buddies and you're gonna head to a 2,000 player YCS event. What should you expect from an event like that?
Well, let's just say that you made friends at your locals and they've taken you into their group and you've been playing with them, maybe even play testing with them. They have lent you new cards, you figured out what you want to play, you gotten better, you bought your deck, and now you're not just playing a starter deck, you're playing an actual competent strategy, and you kind of know how to work things out, but you have not gone into the stressful situation of a large tournament where there's more stakes. Usually it just turns into a small school trip for me. Like someone gets a car that has enough space for everyone, and you drive for a few hours until you are at the place.
Yeah.
You eat very bad food on the way because you need to make a quick stop. But it's usually fun. You talk about cards, you open boosters while you're doing so, and then you go there, and it technically is just a large locals. It is much more daunting. It is much more stressful. There's many more people that you don't know, but even at those large tournaments, if you sit down and you play and then they notice that you're making mistakes and tell them, I'm sorry, I'm new, this is my first regional, for example. No one is gonna harp on you for making mistakes. You might actually get warnings from judges because at this point you are in a tournament where that is necessary to actually keep proper play up, but no one is gonna be mad at you for making mistakes. You might just actually not do well, but I think those events are important to learn and then like get better at the game, and maybe even see if this type of deck that you usually like at locals, it's not for you because it needs a lot of interactions, and over 10-15 rounds that becomes much more difficult than at a four round locals.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even top level players make mistakes. Like, it does happen. You're never going to play perfectly.
What?
It's just a fact of life. There's human condition that affects the games you're playing. You know, maybe you didn't sleep enough. Maybe you didn't have something good to eat for breakfast, right? So even at these higher level competitive events, the stress is high, the drama's high. Just don't work yourself up too much. Just go, even your first couple major events, YCSs, go and just plan to have a good time. You know, don't try to tell yourself you're going to win the whole thing somehow, even though you've never gone to one before, right? Because that's just kind of setting yourself up for failure.
There's always this part in my brain where I'm like, if I just went there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And no wonder I didn't
Yeah.
win. I didn't go.
Exactly.
I let them win because I didn't go.
I did miss
Lucky
the
them
shot
that I
didn't
didn't
take.
Yeah. So you're getting ready for a major event, let's say. There's sealed product in Yu-Gi-Oh! That you can buy off the shelf, rip some packs, maybe some pre-built decks. But also, Yu-Gi-Oh!, like most card games, has a very healthy singles market where you can buy individual cards that you need specifically for the strategy you're trying to play. So what are our thoughts about buying sealed product versus buying singles? And where is a great place that you can buy both, I wonder?
I wonder what it could be.
Cardmarket.com. Go to cardmarket.com.
Bitty.
If you want to buy singles or a sealed product, Cardmarket is a great website for it. But it's not just that. Like even using the website, there's advantages to buying either singles or sealed. Sealed product, you get the thrill of opening boosters. You maybe even have an experience with friends. You can turn it into a pack battle. Each of you opens half. You share a box. And you pull the great card and they don't, and now they're sad and you're happy. Or the other way around. There's a lot of good things with sealed product, but when it comes to being on a budget, making sure that you are able to buy all the cards that you need for your deck, sealed is basically never the right choice. Yes, you could have the 1 in 200 chance of pulling the Starlight version of the expensive card, and then you made a lot of money. But on average, you will not get the cards that you want, and then you have to sell them again, and it takes more time. And usually, buying your cards directly would have just been cheaper. If you're really on a budget and you're trying to finish your deck for a tournament, you should just buy singles.
Yeah, and also when you buy singles, like 'cause sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh! You do need 3 of the same card, and then that's very unlikely that you'll find that in one.
Yeah, you're gonna open a box for like 3 copies of a single secret rare, and it's like you don't need anything else in the set. At that point, you could just buy the 3 secret rares for probably about the same or less than the cost of the box.
Especially if it's like a staple. It's like, oh, this one has Ash Blossom in it. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
That doesn't really, just click 3 Ash Blossoms. There you go.
And speaking of, there's some great products out there if you are looking to rip some packs and just get some staple cards. Mainly, we've been doing rarity collections. It's the hot new thing over the last couple years that Yu-Gi-Oh's been up to that everyone just loves because they're really awesome. Reprints of staple cards that were usually somewhat inaccessible are now available in basically every rarity you could imagine. So not only is there cheap versions of cards that you can use in every single deck you build, but there's also fancy, shiny, bling versions for the people who are interested in that, right? Some people are crazy enough to want to max rarity their decks and buy the most expensive version of every single card they want to play.
Now, who would do that?
Yeah, I wonder. But that's never been me. Budget is always a tough subject because, a budget deck to some people is under €50. A budget deck to other people is under €200, right? Everyone has their own financial situations, but I think truly there is a path for everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially if you're just starting out. Start with the structure decks. They're the best way to just get playing the game right away. And then slowly over time, you can start drip feeding in some new staple, powerful cards that you find. And yeah, if you want to rip packs with friends, I think that's a great idea. I just don't recommend buying a box to open it alone in your room and probably shed a single tear when you go negative on the value.
And also, like, maybe even, when you start playing and you can borrow some cards from someone else just to learn how to play, right? Like, you don't have to, like, immediately buy something. But then, like, once you start, it does make sense to invest it at the beginning because, like, every hobby that you pick up is kind of, like, costs something, right? Like, if you go ice skating, you need ice skates. And there's, usually at the beginning you can lend it from someone. Like, maybe your friend plays competitively and has, like, an older deck that you could update. And then you save some money, but yeah.
That is true. Like, most players have more than one deck. Like, it's very common if you go to a local and say, hey, I've never played before, like, does anyone have a deck I can borrow? Chances are probably more than half of the shop is going to be like, yeah, I have something here. Why don't you try this?
Usually it will be loose cores, but then like if this shop, for example, has singles, and they have opened rarity collections, they will have all of the staples that you need and super rares for a few cents here and there.
And especially if you go regularly, like, you know, then people have seen you around. Like, it's not just oh, hi, I'm new here, give me your deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know.
Go to locals 3 times and you will have like 10 new best friends. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't take long to really just become one of the Yu-Gi-Oh people that hangs out and plays games. Yeah, and I know we did touch on rarity collections a little bit, and they're good value for what they are. We actually have a new rarity collection coming up, which is Rarity Collection 5. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, because I think there's going to be a lot of hype for this set, because we're actually getting a brand new rarity in the TCG for the first time in I don't know how long. And it's full art overframe Yu-Gi-Oh cards. What do we think about this brand new, actually collectible rarity?
Well, fingers crossed that it stays actually collectible and doesn't get reprinted into oblivion. But I feel that they've realized that they need to have something that is collectible. So these overframes, they're like similar to what you can see in Magic and Pokemon, where you don't just have the borders of the card and the tiny artwork. The artwork is on all of the card, and they're experimenting with more and more things. But on top of these overframes that you can get in, I think, super rare, ultra rare, secret, and starlight rare already, they will also do grandmaster rares. Those ones will be serialized per region. So we will most likely have like 100 in the OCG for Japan. I'm not sure if we will have another 100 for the rest of OCG region, and then potentially like Oceania 100, Europe 100, and North America 100, maybe Latin 100. So maybe 500-600 of these cards, and they will have a number on them. They will be X out of 100. They will have an extra like hieroglyphic border that looks very fancy. And the first ones of those have sold for roughly 18,000 US dollars, or euro, I think, 20,000 US dollars.
euro. Yeah, the first ones are already out in Japan, and people are auctioning them off. It's about 20 grand US or 18,000 euros. So I'm not saying the TCG ones are going to fetch that much of a price, but they easily could. It's hard to say. So I think a lot of people will be ripping a lot of packs, which is great for the game. Not only for collectors trying to get their lottery ticket, but also for you looking to buy the single individual cards from these packs. The more packs that people open, the more cards that get put on the market, which lowers the prices, supply and demand. This is not an economics class, but I think you get the picture. Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that. As we mentioned before, keep your eyes peeled for the legendary modern decks as well, which will be a great entry point for you coming up in a couple weeks. And maybe if you want to see us playing those decks, we'll have a video of each of us playing one of the 3 decks when those come out. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And we'll see you in the next video when you have become a Yu-Gi-Oh champion.
Bye.